Today, I will be explaining to you all why a lamp is not a lamp. As ridiculous as it may seem right now, by the end of these 5 minutes, you will all realize that a lamp has never been, and will never be a lamp. What is it though? What is it if it's not a lamp? I'm not going to tell you that. That is my one and extremely particular secret, and you will not hear about it. Instead, I would really like to talk about words. You see, among other things, words are the only thing that separate us from this very cute monkey right here. Among other things like rationality and complex emotions, nothing really parts us from them. As humans, we developed an efficient, rather complicated way of communicating. We learned to name objects and actions. We found a way of sending the message. However, as we grew as individuals and as a society, we sought for more. Bidimensional words weren't enough to illustrate how deep and intricate our mind was. That's where poetry enters. After all, our hearts are not only organs that pump blood through our hearts, right? Eu acho que eu pulei uma parte. That's where poetry enters. Mine was, não sei o quê. Lembrei. How intricate our mind was. Finding other meanings to simple words allowed us to get a little bit closer to that. Finding other meanings to simple words allowed us to get a little bit closer of doing that primary thing that is setting our minds. That's where Shakespeare, Neruda, Rossetti, and so many others come in. After all, our hearts are not only organs that pump blood through our veins, right? I don't know about you, but my heart is a singing bird whose nest is in a water chute. My heart is like an apple tree whose boughs are bent with the thickest fruit. My heart is a rainbow shell that paddles in the Halcyon Sea. My heart is gladder than all of those because my love has come to me. Of course, those weren't my words. This is from a poem by Christina Rossetti called A Birthday. However, I do use my words because we would still be mumbling unintelligible things until today if we couldn't do it, right? Having said that, I wonder why today practicing the activity that makes us human is ignored by humans. Why is it that most people I know can't stand the idea of writing a poem? Why is it that poem books are less bought worldwide? Why is it that bringing layers to words has become tacky or old-fashioned? Why is it that most people in this room looked at me as if I was crazy when I said that a lamp is not a lamp? When asking friends about it, they told me that they didn't have the time or even the ability to do so, that life and obligations did not allow them to think or contemplate. Ironically, contemplation is what brought us to the life we have today. Ironically, life and obligations are what made my first sentence in this talk sound unreasonable. Well, what if the solution to many of our problems is not being reasonable? What if the right way to deal with our feelings and thoughts is seeing things as if they're not what their corresponding words literally mean? For example, maybe the right way for someone to internalize depression is to express a black hole-related voice rather than sadness. Maybe if I quote the Drinking Alone in the Moonlight poem by Lipo, I will say more than if I speak I'm lonely. Beneath the blossoms with a pot of wine, no friends at hand, so I poured alone. Raised my glass to invite the moon, turned to my shadow, and we were three. That's better, right? A very dear poet to me once said, things are aching to be looked at by people who are not reasonable. This sentence could not make more sense to me because the floor is aching to be something more than just a surface to step on. A spoon is aching to be something more than just an eating tool. A lamp is aching to be something more than just an object that lights up a room. Just like thousands of years ago, we were aching to be something more than just simple-minded hunters. And you know what? We are hunters. Never resting, we are hunters for meaning. We are pirates chasing down the gold of our own truth. We are readers, writers, speakers, and every single one of us is a poet in our own way. And we have a whole world begging to be thought and written about. So, now that my 5 minutes have come to an end, I would really like to make a question to all of you. What is a language?